boo-boos. Because little kids are obsessed with boo-boos. There's a dispute between, by the way, among psychologists, whether children are little adults or adults are big children. And you find little, there's yesh v'yesh, there's these and those, Sometimes, a person just has a lot more keys on his ring and he's playing with bigger toys, bigger trucks and bigger blocks, From 5th Avenue to 7th Avenue, he's playing with bigger things. And sometimes you have these little kids that are very impish and they seem to know a lot. But there's an aspect of us which is like little kids, like little boo-boos. And kids tend to obsess on boo-boos. And one of my daughters, we're just chuckling about it, now she's already 14. We were chuckling about it, that for her 5th birthday, we got for her a box of Band-Aids, 2 boxes of Band-Aids all wrapped up, because everything was like, there's blood. She's trying to squeeze and fetch blood out of her finger. Oh, blood, 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 And so, okay, so she put Band-Aids on top of clothing, everything, And sometimes the kid is there crying, oh, the boo-boo hurts, the boo-boo hurts, oh, the boo-boo, the boo-boo, the boo-boo. And the kid, it hurts. Do your ears hurt? No. Does your hair hurt? No. Does your teeth hurt? No. Do your feet hurt? No. Do your toes hurt? No. Wiggle it? No. Oh. And then they forget about their boo-boo, and they go, oh, but my boo-boo, and they go back to the boo-boo again, because they're obsessing with boo-boos. And there's an aspect to adults also that we tend to obsess with boo-boos. I remember going to Midtown Manhattan one time. I had an important meeting with a very rich guy, a billionaire, and we're meeting for breakfast in the morning. It was one appointment in Manhattan, and we went. I came to the place that I said we were supposed to be meeting. He wasn't there. I called his office. He called my office, and then we figured out that he had the wrong place. And then finally we met up. Meanwhile, I had parked my car on 10th Avenue because I didn't want to park in the garage. I'm just going to be there for 45 minutes to meet with this fellow, and it'll take me a few minutes to walk there. And so, since he missed me and I missed him, we finally met a half hour later in the restaurant. And we had our little meeting for 45 minutes. By the time I came back to my car, so the money in the meter had run out. And there I was on 9th Avenue in my car. I could see it on the other side. And the sign says, don't walk. And the cars are whizzing by. And I see there's Rita, meter maid. 3 cars away from my car, putting a ticket on one car. And then she's up to the next car. And then finally the traffic stops. And it says, walk. I run. And I sprint over there. And she's already at my car. You know these ladies. They're my wife and I would sometimes do exercises, just as we say, for example, like, instead of saying something that's cliche, like cold as a cucumber, no, people don't think of a cucumber anymore, like, it became already very cliche. So you say cold as a brass doorknob. Oh, that's good. And mine was cold as the heart of a meter maid, There she is, as soon as I get there, I say, I'm here, it's okay, don't worry about it, thank you very much, I'm here, I made it. And she goes, too late, boom, and there's that little swagger, that turn, and then I take my ticket off the windshield. Why don't you get yourself a real job? $85 DOT. For the DOT, $85. I came to do a chesed for somebody. I came to this, and I'm trying to... I'm a teacher. What am I going to $85 for the DOT? $85. And I'm grinding my teeth to dust. And I'm driving on the West Side Highway, and I'm heading back to the George Washington Bridge. And I'm just like, my insides are turning out. And it took me until I got to the bridge for it to suddenly dawn on me. Hey, wait a second. I'm coming home. It's Erev Shabbos. It's cold outside, but it's warm in the car. My house is a warm place. My wife is baking challahs. She's expecting a baby. The other children in school, and they're healthy. Look at how many good things I have in my life. And I'm sitting over here, and I'm going to obsess on this little boo-boo over here. That's the nature. That's what happens. We tend to obsess on boo-boos, and that can eclipse and wipe out everything else that might be good in life. Is that one little rip in the stocking, that one little tear in the suit. They just got the suit. And look at Look at this thing. I once got a suit, and it was Erev Shabbos. I got quickly, and I took that thing off, and I ripped out a whole thing, a brand new suit. $180 suit. There was and it's like nobody could see that there was anything there, but for me, it was the Grand Canyon, I couldn't, every time I'm looking at it, I'm falling into the Grand Canyon of it. It's such a pain. It took my whole heart out. My wife was suffering one time in the labor room. She was carrying on for hours. It was hours. Every other time had gone pretty smoothly, but when we gave birth to my daughter, it was already a 5th child, Baruch Hashem, and it's carrying on, labor is going on for hours. And Baruch Hashem, other times she had a very, very strong, tough-minded birthing coach. They had these ladies of these nurses that they had been former Army drill sergeants. Lady, you're not the only one here tonight. Hurry up, get up, hey, want that baby out? Yeah, and they're calling the babies out. So this lady was nice. She was tender. She had my wife's best friend's name. And she was talking to my wife, stroking her hand. I'm in the corner, helpless, you know, saying to Hillel, nobody knows what the men go through. It's very, very painful to feel so helpless when so much is at stake. And they're sitting to Hillel in the corner, and it's carrying on already. And then at that moment over there, I'm going to write a book about it someday, what the men go through. You know, I'm going to bring a lot of heat to myself, I know it. But, you know, they don't know what we go through. So there I was in the corner, saying my Tehillim, and I hear this conversation is between the waves of pressure, between the, what's it called, there's a word for it, the labor pains. So there's a moment of pause in between, and this lady says to my wife, she goes, you know, dear, one little push, and you're going to have your baby. You know, like we're right there on the cusp. And my wife looked up in that moment and she said, baby? And I was thinking to myself, what did she think we came here for? You know, it's the first time she hears about this. You know, we went for 7 sonograms. We came into triage. We walked into the hospital. You know, that night. You know, at 1 o'clock in the morning, and they're geniuses over there. They said, "Yes, can we help you? What are you here for?" I said, "What are we here for?" I said, "I'll give you 3 guesses. I'm having an ingrown toenail. Did you see me limping? You know, I'm having a bad hair day. I came for a hair transplant at 1 o'clock in the morning. You know, my wife was about to have a baby. You know, we declared we're having a baby. We're having a baby. Get us into a room. So we came into the. We know we're having a baby. What do you think? We're in the dentist's office over here suddenly getting a tooth filled or whatever? What is going on? Sitting in the stirrups at 3 o'clock in the morning. What is going on over here, babe?" And I'm thinking to myself, is it a hormone thing? I don't know what's going on. And later on, I realized it's a psychological principle. It's this psychological principle that a person can be in the midst of the most obvious production in the whole world. They're about to produce the most valuable thing in the whole universe is a child, and it's arriving any minute, and you know it's there. And yet, when you're experiencing the pain, and the pain is there, so it eclipses and it blocks out even the most obvious good in the whole universe. And that's what happens. We obsess on boo-boos, on what's wrong with this picture. You get the whole house redone, and the cabinet doesn't close right, and it just, you know, and it's like a little bit, this one's off, and a little bit, you know. And everybody say, "Congratulations, Teshadeh, Shaddai." You go, "Yeah, look at this, you know. I can't get this guy on the phone anymore, you know. Look at it, every time I close it, look at it, and look at the other one closes. I guess this one closes, and that one is sinking already, you know. And how much I pay for these cabinets, and the grishes and stuff. It could be the most obvious thing, but the pain is eclipsing all the good that's happening over there. And then one tekiah gadola later, 1 moment later, we're on the other side of the wall, and we got a little baby in our hand. Mazel tov. And it could be that the Jewish people are sitting over here, the baby's head is down, we got more than 6 million Jews sitting in Eretz Israel, and all we can complain about is the pain, and the world is pregnant with Mashiach, and we're experiencing the Chevla Mashiach. It's pain, it's too difficult, But it's worth it. Because when we get to the end, we get to the other side.